7 traits of a leader worth following. 7 traits of a leader worth following. Now, this can be viewed 2 different ways. This can be viewed from the leader's perspective of what a leader worth following should look like, which obviously will include you if you're here wanting to be a better leader. It could also be viewed from the person who is under leadership on what you should be looking at when you're looking for a good leader to follow. So when I'm using these 7 traits tonight and I'm bouncing back and forth, you will have to just kind of listen and then maybe go back and reread your notes or re-watch this session to see it from the different perspectives. I love leadership. I've always been drawn to good leadership. I've always been drawn to this leadership, and I've learned something from every leader. Some's been good, some's been bad, and if you will go into becoming a better leader yourself personally, you will also come across leaders that will teach you good things. You will see things in that leader that you would like to develop in yourself, or you'll come up under a leader where you're like, Lord, help me to never be like that. And either one is good. If you're learning, either one of them is good. So 7 traits of a leader worth following. Number 1, they have character worthy of following. So character has been one of the first of a handful of things we've covered in the past leadership development sessions. Character is a big deal. We put character first in the 4 C's, and now we're putting character first in the 7 traits of a leader worth following. They have to have character worthy of following. They are the same people on the job as they are off the job. Now, we're in the church, so we kind of try to filter all this through kingdom, but it also applies to your work that you do outside of the church. You should be the same person at home as you are at church. And you should be the same person on the job as you are at the church. So you shouldn't be that person that puts on this hat and this mask and this facade, and you're somebody totally different. So we teach our young people, obviously, you should be who you are, even at school. You shouldn't be ashamed of your identity, even if you're the only one that has that identity in the school that you go to. You shouldn't be ashamed of that. That's the same thing we teach our adults. You need to be a Christian when you go to work. And if you have to lie to make a sale, you need to quit. And if you have to cheat people to make some money, you need to quit. And if you have to be deceptive in order to climb the corporate ladder, you need to find another ladder to climb. And so those principles are just universal. It doesn't matter whether you're just in the church or you're talking about at a secular job. You need to be the same person on and off the job. If your manager sees you walking through Walmart, and hopefully you're not being captured on WalmartPeople.com, praise God. But you should be as nice to him on aisle 3 as you fake it in the office. You just got to be who you are all the time. They got to have character. You need to have character that's worthy of following. They keep their word. Their word can be trusted because their actions back up what they say. If they tell you they're going to do X, Y, Z for you, then a leader with character, you can bank on it. You need to be that kind of leader that if you tell, let's just say if you tell your boss you're going to do something, it's all but done. And they don't have to remind you 10 times of what you said. You're just the kind of leader that your word is backed by your actions. because that's the kind of leader you would like to follow. Everybody's probably had a boss in their lifetime that was just a liar. They were always going to do something for you. They were always going to promote you. You were always going to get that raise. You had a bonus coming. You had this, you had that, and you know, it just never happened. You promised yourself you would never be like that, right? So don't be like that. When you're in the position of leadership and you have people underneath you, be the kind of leader that when you tell them you're going to do something, it's all but done. They do not overcommit themselves to things they cannot do. Now, this right here is something that you need to understand. Young people, please get this. And when you are applying for a job and you're in an interview or you are trying to climb the ladder at your job and promotions are available and you're being interviewed for those promotions, it's always best to undercommit and overdeliver than to overcommit and underdeliver. It'd be better for you to say, you know what, I'm not the best at that, but I will do my best, and then blow it out of the water, than to tell them you are God's gift to that, and you are pathetic. Because it don't take somebody with half a brain to figure out you're lying. Like, okay, that is pitiful. If that's your idea of excellence, you know what? We're going to find somebody else. Right? So it would be better. Now, that doesn't mean not commit. That doesn't mean never commit. That means it'd be better for you to undercommit but overdeliver. It'd be better for you to wow them and shock them in a good way than to disappoint them and then be like, they a liar. Amen. So it would be best when you walk into an interview, don't try to oversell yourself to where you cannot back up what you're saying. Oh, yeah, man, I can do that. Yeah, I've been doing that for years. And he says, okay, well, come over here and show me. And then you're like, well, actually, what I meant was, I've heard about it. I watched it on YouTube. I've seen somebody do it. It looked easy. Right? No. No. Undercommit, over-deliver. That's the best way. Number 2, second trait of a leader worth following. Believe and motivate those under them or those who follow them. A leader worth following is going to believe and motivate them who are under them or who are following them. This is the kind of leader that you want to follow. Now, excuse me, sometimes people just need to be told that they have what it takes. Sometimes people have been told all their life because their parents were not really good parents, that they were stupid and they were ignorant and they were dumb and they were morons and they were losers and they couldn't ever do it. And they've grown up in that culture and that environment and they don't believe they can do much. Some people just need to be encouraged and told that they have what it takes. Now, it may take you a little longer and you may have to work a little harder than John over there, but you can do it if you put your mind to it. And if you'll put the work in, you can be better than you are right now. They encourage people to keep moving forward after a mistake. I have had this conversation with so many people, and as a leader who's trying his best to raise up leaders and really just help the future of this church to be strong when it comes to leadership, and in so doing, you being a strong leader, it helps you out there in the workplace. You need to learn how to use mistakes as a source of learning, not a reason to quit. I just had this conversation with someone the other day. You need to use mistakes as a source of learning, not a reason to quit. I had this conversation with someone today. As long as you've learned from this mistake, then you know what? As aggravating and as frustrating and as mad as you are right now, and you want to kill somebody, starting with yourself. If you will learn from this and just never do it again, then it's okay. Now, you keep repeating the mistake, we have a problem. Okay? So, use mistakes as a source of learning, not a reason to quit. Motivate them to dream big, but keep their feet planted in reality. And that's a fine line sometimes. I remember being much younger and having all these grand ideas, and my father-in-law always shooting them down. I finally got to where I just stopped telling him certain things. I just kept my dream to myself. What he was doing was he was trying to keep my feet planted in reality. Shut up. Don't amen that. That's not your cue. This is my session. I'm getting paid for this. What he was trying to do was keep my feet planted in reality. Now, at 20-something years of age, you're just wanting to conquer the world and make it happen. You really aren't interested in the no's. You just want to hear a bunch of go-get-ems. Now, he did tell me go get them when I came time to get his daughter. He said, go get her. Now, so that was easy one. But some things I had talked about, it was almost like, okay, now listen. Can you at least wait a few minutes before you shoot it down? Don't just shoot it down immediately. You live long enough to appreciate that because there's wisdom in keeping your feet planted in reality. You don't want to shoot nobody's dream. Nobody should ever destroy somebody's dreams. However, it does take a strong leader to be like, okay, while your dreams should be up in the heavens somewhere, in the blue skies, your feet need to be on the ground. Because you got to be able to make that happen. And, okay, we're in a church setting, so, starting a church, every church planter's dream is, at least run 1,000 in a year. That's your dream. That's your vision. I mean, dream big or go home, Either just do it or just stop, But it takes time for that dream to come to pass. And sometimes you never hit 1,000. Sometimes, you hit 100, 150, 300, 400, but you never hit that. But you don't stop trying to hit that dream, right? But there's always going to be somebody, probably your father-in-law, that's going to keep your feet planted on the ground. Like, I want you to dream. I'm going to encourage you to dream. But at the same time, I'm going to be the guy that's going to say, hey, how's that going to happen? How are we going to make that happen? Now, if we can get a plan to make it happen, let's run for it. But if we just say we want to be a millionaire, what does that mean? Rob a bank? And just don't get caught? Right? Okay? So you have to have the ability to dream big. You want a leader that's going to motivate you to dream big, but keep your feet planted in reality. You, as a leader, need to dream big, but keep your feet planted in reality. I talk to our young entrepreneurs and those who are learning trades, and Logan is out there doing HVAC stuff, and the goal somewhere down the line is to perhaps, maybe one day, own his own business, and that's a great goal to have. It's going to take years for him to know enough of the actual work, not to mention the business side of overhead and capital and where you're going to get all that money from to start that business and how you're going to pay it back and all that good stuff. But there needs to be a goal. You don't just need to say, well, I come from a long line of cashiers. What do you want to do in your life? Cashier? Not everybody, not too many people I know said, what's your goals in life? I want to be a cashier. I want to have my light on. Like all the time. I don't take breaks. I'm open. I grew up where there was never a cashier open, so when I become a cashier, I'm going to always be open. I'll work right through my lunch. Now, that's not the biggest goal to have in your life, okay? But you got to start somewhere. So if you're going to go into management at Walmart, you don't start in management. Everybody starts at the cash register. Because if you're going to manage the store, you got to know how to run a cash register. Because if there is pandemonium on Black Friday and you're needing to jump on a cash register and you go, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I got all these keys. And I have no idea what to do with them. You're not going to last long. Okay? So you have to understand, you got to start at the bottom, dream big, but keep your feet planted. And sometimes, for me, that's been a fine line. And probably with most visionaries and most people who get out there and do it, there's always been that fine line, but they've always had a father-in-law. Number three, you are accessible. You are accessible. Now, he's still a part of my family, so everything's still good. You are accessible. Number three, you are accessible. Listen, Noah. They fight the need to micromanage everyone. Now, I didn't say they are good at it. I said they fight the need to micromanage everyone. Not everyone needs to be micromanaged. Now, I understand that. You understand that. As a choleric, or what some refer to as a control freak, this can be slightly challenging for me. I know you're surprised to hear that. Those of you watching that know me in YouTube world, I know you just fell out of your seat, but pick yourself back up. As a choleric, sometimes it's hard not to micromanage everything because as a control freak, you know what you're going to do. And you know it's going to be incredible. So, the fight, the struggle is to be accessible without being in control. The struggle is to make yourself accessible, but not be the one that's having to do all the work. So, while some will need to be micromanaged in the beginning, if you're 16 and you're just getting your first job, you're going to need to be micromanaged in the beginning. You have zero experience. You need to walk into that job with the understanding, I don't know anything. They are going to micromanage me. However, that shouldn't last forever. Okay, at 16, we're going to micromanage you for the love of God. At 26, please do it on your own. At 36, you know what I'm saying? At 46, please, just do it. You know what you need to do, just do it, right? Not everybody needs to be micromanaged, but when you're starting out, you're going to need to be micromanaged, but that shouldn't last forever. The leader should give freedom to let others make decisions on their own, which is another hard thing to do. My wife is just all grins tonight. Give freedom to let others make decisions on their own. Because with leadership comes authority, responsibility, and accountability. So if you are being promoted on your job because of your leadership potential, okay, your practices and behaviors have proven yourself to be worthy of promoting, when you get that promotion, it's not just a little bit bigger paycheck. And most of the time, it's just a little bit bigger. Right? Because, you know, America's cheap when it comes to promotion. It's going to be just a little bit. All right? But with that little bit is responsibility. Now, in America, sometimes we're promoting people and we're firing other two people, and so now you get 3 jobs and you're getting paid $1 more. Right? That's the American way. You have to understand that with promotions, it's not just about, ooh, I got a promotion. There's responsibility that comes with that promotion. Yeah, there's authority. Ooh, I'm a manager now. Woo, woo. That's where everybody stops. They get the different name tag. They have the new color robe. They got a different color shirt, so they stand out. And they're just looking at the fact that I have authority now. But with that authority comes responsibility to lead and accountability to those who are above you. Because guess what? All you became was the assistant manager. You know what that means? Nothing. You get to do everything the general manager don't want to do anymore. When I was at Walmart, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been blessed to lead in a way that everywhere I've ever worked, I've been offered management opportunities. And, buddy, I watched them assistant managers, and I was like, nope, I ain't climbing a ladder at Walmart. Huh. Now, if they let me skip, it might have been tempting. But to have to go through the assistant managing process, you get the bad shifts. You get put through the ringer. And they do it on purpose. Because once you've earned your way to management, you get to return the favor. Right? Okay? So, you have to understand that there is always accountability. There's always going to be a manager over you. Or if you became general manager, guess what? You're not the CEO. You have a district over you. There's a regional over you. Then you got the big dogs. And they come in every now and then and everybody freaks out. Right? Okay, so there's always going to be accountability that comes along with the responsibility, that comes along with the authority of you being a leader. Having said all of that, however, when the people who are following you have a question, need some advice, need some direction, or just could use a word of encouragement, you have to be there. You have to be accessible. Now, thank God for voicemail and texting and Slack. Thank you, Jesus. So that when we aren't accessible, because we're just choosing not to be, because I need a break. You can still be accessible because you can leave a voicemail and I can call you back, or you can text me and I can text you back. And so we have to be accessible. You want those who are over you to be accessible to you when you need them. And if you are that person in leadership, you need to be accessible, because that's the kind of leader worth following, okay? Now, just for kicks and giggles, you know, for those in our culture where you have my cell phone number, do you think they have TD Jake's cell phone number? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? We try to be accessible. You need to be accessible. It's just what we do, okay? All right? We don't want to have to do everything and control everything, but we do need to be accessible so that if you do have a question, that gives me a second to kind of chase a rabbit. That also means that you have to ask questions. If you don't know what you're doing, please stop and ask. And if I don't have the answer, we will get you one. We will Google it. We will find an article and I will share it with you. Okay? Because we don't want you just going around making a mess all the time because, well, I just didn't know. Well, did you ever ask? Well, I never thought about that. Ask. You have to be willing to ask questions. I have to be willing to listen to your question and help you get an answer. And that's just how the leadership works, okay? So it's not just about, I'm here with answers, but there ain't nobody asking questions. I mean, I got lots of answers. I just need to be asked questions, right? Okay, so as the leader, you need to also, with your accessibility trait, let people know. Ask questions. Please. Don't be that person sitting in, the math class. Your eyes are crossed, they're glazed over, and by the time all you're hearing is, and all you see is scribbles on the chalkboard, and you're just like, anybody have any questions? You're like, no. Got it. And you don't, and you fell, and it's just bad because now you're in 5th grade again. Because you couldn't quite get 2 + 2. All right, so there's that. Just be there. Number 4, the 4th trait of a leader worth following. Challenge others to be better than they think they can be. Challenge others to be better than they think they can be. A leader worth following will motivate you to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. I didn't put this in my notes, but every time I typed this today, I kept saying this in my head, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. There's a difference between a comfort zone and a competent zone. That one's free and original. There's a difference between a comfort zone and a competent zone. I want to push you out of your comfort zone, but we all need to know what you're competent at. And if you're not competent at doing B, we need to keep you at A. All right? So you need to be pushed beyond your comfort zone. All right? I'm pushing myself right now in areas my wife knows. I'm pushing myself in comfort zones. I'm breathing right now thinking about it. All right? You have to continually be pushed out of your comfort zones, all right, just because it's good for you, all right? So a leader worth following will motivate you to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. They will ask good, often hard questions. Now, that's not a comfortable spot to be in, and it gets a little awkward because especially when you're talking about spiritual stuff and you got like Prophet Bishop Tipton is saying things to you and you're just like asking you questions and you're having to answer them, and it gets a little woo, praise God. But thank God for spiritual authority. Thank God for the apostolic ministry. But even in the secular world, if someone above you is seeing potential in you and they start asking you some hard questions, there's a reason. What would you do if such and such happened? That's the test. They won't know how you're thinking. Now, if you've watched them and you've learned how they operate and it works and it's good, you might want to pick up on that. You want to observe, take notes, think, look, watch the people that are going somewhere and that are further than you are, all right? And then when you start getting asked these hard questions, understand there's a test behind that. What do you think about, man, I don't know how many times I've been asked in Publix and at Starbucks, what do you think about them? Starbucks, my friend just got promoted to a regional type position, and so he moved. I don't know how many interviews I would be in the store while he was giving an interview. He'd look at me and I'd be like, or he'd look at me and I'd be like, one girl was sitting right beside me, and she was getting interviewed, and I just looked at him and was like, she was incredible. She just left and went to Colorado for school to be EMT, but she was amazing. And I'm telling you, it's just, when you can pick them out. You know who's got it, and you know those who don't. And when those leaders start asking you hard questions, understand it's not just to trip you up. They're wanting to see where you stand on some things. Where are you at? What do you think about? What about their leadership skills? How did they interview? What did they talk like? If they can't even talk, you don't want them behind the retail counter. Stick them in the warehouse. They can just talk to the t-shirt. Right? Okay? All right? They ask good, often hard questions. They will not let you give up easily. They keep pushing you forward even when you are ready to quit. That's a good leader. When you're wanting to just quit, they won't let you quit easily. Now, later on down the road, they realize quitting is the only solution. Then most of them will let you do that. But they're not going to let you just quit because you're just having a bad day. Amen. Number 5, fifth trait, skillful and competent, but not arrogant or self-serving. Now, I love competence, and incompetence is just one of my kryptonite issues. I can't handle it. Incompetent people drive me slap crazy, all right? Skillful and competent, but not arrogant or self-serving. And there's a fine line between the two. There's often a fine line between the two. And time will reveal which one they are. You give it time, and you will finally catch on to they're that good or they're just that arrogant. They are skillful. They are competent. They are confident, but they're not arrogant, and they're not self-serving. A leader worth following will want you to learn on your own, so don't always expect them to give you all the answers up front. And that can be aggravating, especially in the beginning when you're trying to learn. But see, the wisdom behind that is you're never going to learn if I'm always giving you the answers. And I had a conversation with someone a couple days ago, and it came time to give my input, and I said, I said all that to say this: I ain't telling you what to do. Because if I tell you what to do and you do it, you can get mad at me when it don't come out right. But if you do it, you just get mad at yourself. Sometimes you just got to learn how to make the decision. Because if I make all the decisions, if your mama, I'm meddling now. There's those rabbits I'm starting to chase. If your mama has to always tell you what to do, you're going to be in a mess when you get married. You'll see. Your wife will fix it, though. You just hold on. She'll straighten you out. If you've needed your dad to tell you everything to do, you're gonna be hurting one day when dad ain't there to tell you what to do. Okay, so while you have to understand that a leader worth following wants you to learn on your own, you have to embrace and expect that they will not always give you the answer. They may give you a couple of things to consider, and then you have to pick the one you feel is right, because that's how you learn. They continue to learn personally. Now, I've always been encouraged to see someone that I felt knew it all still learning from others. I've always found that really interesting, because when you get in a group of people, now usually when you're in a group, especially in a political type setting, you won't take you long to figure out who's competent and who's just arrogant. It won't take you long to figure out who's confident in themselves and who's just straight up cocky, because they will begin to try to control the conversation. It's all about them. It's what they've done. And usually by the time they're done, they're so off track with the question that what they're talking about has nothing to do with the original conversation. Okay? Now, versus the person who is just kind of taking things in and listening. You never thought about it like that. There are a handful of people that I get around, and Bishop Tipton is one of them, where I don't do the talking. I ask the questions and then I do the listening. Or he does all the talking and I do the listening. And there are going to be people in your life like that, and you need them in your life that can just tell you. And they can just lay it all out there. And then you know what? You have to take it and you have to digest it, and you have to realize they know what they're talking about. Okay? They're not being arrogant. They're just, and I'm going to say this with all due respect, they're just that good. They're that amazing. They're that anointed in a spiritual context. They're that spiritual that they can just tap in and tell you things that you're like, oh, how do they know that? Right? Okay? So, anyway, since he was just here, it's just on my mind. But teachable leaders are easy to follow. Teachable leaders are easy to follow. Learn that. Young people, please don't be stubborn like your parents. That's what Moses told the Israelites. Don't be knuckleheads like your parents. That's what Joshua having to say too. Don't be knuckleheads like your... Okay, so you want to be teachable. Teachable leaders are easy to follow. People who are easy to work with are people who are easy to teach. People who go places are people who learn because they are teachable. Okay? All right, number 6. We've got to go. Visionary and challenges mediocrity. Now, these last two, these are like my candy sticks. This stuff just gets my motor running. Visionary and challenges mediocrity. A leader worth following is going to be a visionary leader And they are going to constantly, until they die, challenge mediocrity. Okay? This kind of leader, a visionary leader, they see what could be. Now, I'm fixing to maybe make up a word. And if I am, I'm going to copyright it. All right. They see what could be. They see what should be. Then they challenge everyone to make it be. Now, I don't know if that's proper English or not, but if they're good, type it in. All right. They see what could be. They see what should be. Then they challenge everyone to make it be. This is what could happen. This is what should happen. Everybody, we're going to make it happen. Okay? That's a visionary leader. That's someone you want to follow. You want to follow somebody who's got somewhere they're wanting to go. And it's worthwhile. And it's you know, in the church context, it's godly. It's going to produce kingdom results. In the job, it's beneficial for your 401k and your paycheck and paying your bills. You want to follow, you want to jump on board a company that's doing something. I get these, I don't know how in the world I get these magazines. I've never in my life paid for it or subscribed to it. They come to the church every month, addressed to me. And it's incorporated. It's a business magazine. Every now and then I'll flip through it, and they had a cool couple articles that I was interested in this time, and it was taking like the top 100 companies in different areas and just talking about those companies. That stuff fires me up because you look at these companies that are doing something and people are talking about them because they're successful. But the reason why they're successful is because there was a visionary behind it. Starbucks is successful because of its visionary CEO that has already left and come back multiple times because the successors fall apart. Anyway, so you've got Starbucks name brand that's connected to Howard Schultz. You have Apple's name brand connected to Steve Jobs. Now, Tim Cook may be doing a great job, but he ain't known as the Apple founder. He's just known as the new CEO. Bill Gates is the Microsoft man, right? Okay? So you've got all these people that were visionary leaders that millions, not like 10 or 12 follow them, millions follow them, buy their products, are loyal to them. You know, them Google people are loyal to Google. Those Apple people are loyal to Apple. And Starbucks people are loyal to Starbucks. I had a friend of mine that every now and then he'll text me, "What should I drink?" And I'll tell him. And today he stopped by Dunkin' Donuts. Let me just read what he said. He said, and I quote, "Out of pure desperation, I tried Dunkin' Donuts iced caramel macchiato this morning, also known as stump water, with the puking emoji. And I just said, no, just no." He said, "Forgive me, for I've sinned." I said, "You are forgiven. Go and sin no more." Don't do it to yourself. Life is too short to drink bad coffee drinks. Okay? It's just too short. All right? So, visionary leaders see what could be. All these people that I just mentioned, they saw what could be. They saw what should be. And they challenged everyone that joined them to make it be. They are never content with settling for second best or simply being good enough. That ain't going to happen. If first is not where they reach in the scale, it won't be because they didn't do everything in their power to become first. Is that right? Okay. So if they're not number one brand in the world, it won't be because they didn't try to be number one. And if they got second, but it was probably a close race. Does that make sense? Because a visionary leader wants to be one. All right? They're gonna challenge mediocrity. Just being good enough. Well, I mean, you know what? Man, all of our stock options look good. I mean, our paychecks are solid. Our 401k packages look pretty good. You know, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we're doing good enough. Let's just coast. And what happens with those companies who start to coast is somebody comes up out of nowhere and then leaps over, outdoes them. And that good enough gets them in the you ain't that very good anymore list. Okay? So a visionary leader is just going to always push against mediocrity. Another thing that a visionary leader does, and this is just as important to me, I think, and even in a church culture, but also in life in general with your children and in the business world, they celebrate each achievement no matter how small, but they keep pushing the team toward continual improvement. You need to learn, especially young people kind of growing into your leadership capacity, you need to learn how to celebrate small victories. Amen. You don't wait till the Jericho wall has fallen down to finally get excited about it. You know, if you just see a crack or you see a few pebbles laying there, oh, I'm getting excited. Celebrate small victories. Don't wait till the big ones, because the longer it takes to get to the big one, the less exciting you're going to be able to stay. And eventually you're going to get weary in well-doing. It's Bible for that. Okay? Celebrate even the smallest of victories. You got $1 raise. Okay, it wasn't $5, but it was $1. Celebrate it. You know, you made it 30 days without beating your husband. Just celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you made it 10 minutes without beating your kid. Just celebrate it. I mean, your teenage daughter said hello. Celebrate it. Your teenage boy was actually in a good mood. Celebrate it. Boy, you better get in a good mood. Right? Celebrate small victories. Don't wait till they graduate to get excited. You know, they made it to the second grade. Celebrate. They made it to third grade. Celebrate. Just celebrate small victories. It does make a difference. And continue to push them toward continual improvement. You can always be better. Always be better. In your job reviews, many of you have end of the year reviews, or however your job makes it, 6-month reviews, yearly review. There's always that last section where it's like, now here's where you can improve, and you start cringing. Because nobody likes to be told they're not good or they're doing something wrong. But ways to improve doesn't mean you're bad. This is just where you could improve. I see some potential here. If you would tweak it just a little bit, that number would come up, and it will eventually help your pay raise. Okay, so points of improvement are not, you're a loser, just quit, you're done. No, it's points of improvement, okay? We all have things we can improve on. Amen. Well, he gets loud at the worst times. We all have things we can improve on, okay? So we just have to all understand we all have things we can improve on. It's not a bad thing, okay? If you're a visionary leader or you're going to follow a visionary leader, you better get used to it, because it ain't ever going to be enough, okay? It's never going to be enough. On a church setting, you start off as a church planner. I remember we had 9. I remember I took a picture there. We had 109 that day. Years or two ago. We had 124 or 125, whatever it was, last year at some point. Listen, it's never going to be enough. I'm not going to be like, okay, we're done. We had 150 now. Woo, no, let's get 200. And when we hit 200, let's do 275. And when we get 275, let's break 300. And let's do 4. It's never going to be enough. Why? Because the vision's always there. It's just, woo, never satisfied. Not in a negative way. Right. Not in that nothing that we're doing is good enough. There's just always something else to do, right? Amen. It's always somewhere to go. We can always get better. And last, number 7, last. This is another one of my candy sticks. I love this. Live for a legacy, live for a legacy, not immediate recognition. Now, I didn't say no recognition, because everybody needs recognition. So don't get the idea that, you're going to make it in life without any recognition, because you won't. That's rough, okay? But you should live for a legacy, visionary leaders especially. And I just love Nehemiah, and I was going to leave Nehemiah alone in number 6, but Nehemiah, number 6 and number 7 in our traits tonight is totally Nehemiah. It's just incredibly Nehemiah. Nehemiah saw what could be, what should be, and he got people, and they made it happen. All right? He also understood the reason why we're doing this is not so I go into Time Magazine's, Man of the Year, or not so I get written up and there's a lot of books about me because I was a visionary, but because the future of Israel. Remember when he was on the wall and they were all freaking out because Sanballat and Tobias had sent word, we're going to get you when you least expect it. And they were tired. Man, they'd been working nonstop, family after family, doing their duties and what they had signed up to do. And it was just like, we are so tired. There's been so much work. Man, look at this pile we've worked on. And Nehemiah had to jump up and blow the trumpet. Everybody listen to me. This ain't about us. And you go back and read chapter 4. This is about your wives. This is about your kids. He made it even worse. This is about your grandkids. This is about the generation that has yet to even come. We are doing this for them. Visionary leaders give way to number 7. They live for a legacy, not immediate recognition. A leader worth following is constantly investing in the lives of other people. They are constantly investing in the lives of other people. Folks, I promise you there is something that we could all be doing besides sitting here at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. I understand that. But if I'm going to leave a legacy and the future of this church is dependent upon what I leave behind, then this is why we do this. Okay? This is not so we have a YouTube channel and a video to actually put on there. I promise you that. This is so we can put our effort in now to the strength and stability of the future of this church. And so while Amelia just likes staring and smiling at me because I am just her favorite, she ain't getting anything we're saying. But you know what? She will be hearing it for years. And we will raise up another generation of leaders who understand it's not just about me. It's not about me. It's about the future. And so we got to stay strong. We have to keep pushing forward. We have to consistently be improving. We have to be held accountable. We have to be responsible. We have to lead in submission to authority. Blah, 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 blah. And we raise up the future leaders and we leave a legacy. Now, these types of leaders, they don't have to lead or be in charge of everything. That is such a misconception of even choleric leaders, is that they want to lead everything. They don't want to lead everything. They can't lead everything, okay? I don't lead the Sunday school department. Thank God. And the kids said amen. I don't lead the youth department. Thank God. And the young people said amen. Okay, we're going to up his medication. They don't have to lead. They don't have to be in charge of everything. They don't have to place their name on everything. It's not always about them. It's not their brand per se. They don't have to be the center of attention. They don't have to have all the ideas or be the center of the celebration. Man, I promise you, I have some good ideas. I got some really good ideas. And then there's some areas of ministry, don't ask me. I can't help you there. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. I don't know what to do with them. But thankfully, God blesses others with the giftedness and and the energy and the vision for those ministries, that they help make the decisions. They help run those ministries. And I just get to sit on sidelines and woo, cheer and enjoy just showing up. That's the right way. That's how it's supposed to work. They don't have to have all the ideas. They don't have to be the center of the celebrations. They are not afraid for others. This is huge. They are not afraid for others to succeed even above their own accomplishments. They want to, if you succeed, they have succeeded. And that is a leader that really gets the big picture, okay? They acknowledge and encourage the contributions of others on the team, because when the team wins, everyone wins. Okay? An insecure leader wants all the attention, wants everything to be about them. They want to be the one that gets all the rewards and awards, and they want to be the one that was known for it. A secure leader understands, listen, I didn't come up with that idea. That wasn't me. I might have signed off on it because, whoop, that sounds good, because I could have never thought about that. But the other person gets the promotion and gets the recognition, and they get the award or reward because that leader is competent and confident and is not afraid of someone doing good. So if you are the person under the leader that as hard as you work, it seems like ain't nothing good enough, you just remember that maybe one day you'll be in that top chair. And a visionary leader, it's never enough. It's not that it's not good enough, it's just never enough. They're always pushing further, higher, bigger. Let's do it. We can do it. But the important thing, number 7, the important thing is that we're leaving a legacy. And in closing, one thing you'll understand about all of these traits, and many of you will be thinking tonight of various leaders that you have had in your past, and people that you are either read about or know about or have heard about, that you've already attached some of these traits to that leader. One thing about some of these traits is you really won't appreciate it about that leader until they're gone. And when they're gone, you will always reflect back to, boy, I remember, boy, he'd get on your head, my Lord. Boy, she always was pushing. It didn't matter what I did. My wife would come home with 100 and her mama would say, well, there was no extra credit. You mean you couldn't do anything to get a little bonus point or something? Like, talk about child abuse. I'm telling y'all, these rights are crazy. I got mama never satisfied and father-in-law always putting me down. I mean, it's like you couldn't win for losing. My God, right? Hello? Come on, somebody. All right? So, there's always going to be room for improvement. So don't come home with just 100. Where was that extra points at? Where was that bonus stuff at? You could write an extra paragraph of what you really learned. All right, man. Okay, so let's be the kind of leader that people want to follow. Let's also look for leaders that are worthy of following. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Thanks for coming tonight. We appreciate your attentiveness and all those who took notes. God bless you. It'll be posted later on. You can go back and watch it, and you can write down things you might have missed. Thanks for coming. Love you. Let's get some prayer going on here in just a second.